All right, just to catch you up here on what's going on. Engine is out. This was a little bit different. So for the first few years, the D series, they mount in the front, kind of like that one does with those little strut-looking things, um, and then in the back, it's into the bell housing on the transmission. Doesn't matter if it's the Borg Warner or the Chrysler 727, they all do the same. Now, this is a 3/4 ton, and rear mount, this was a 727 in this one. Rear mount's the same. Two large bolts on either side of the transmission bell housing for the rear. And on the front, I don't know if you can see it, but this one, you can see that cross member is a little bit different on the 3/4 ton, and it doesn't have those strut style looking mounts. It's like kind of like a solid, it attaches to the same place, but it's just a little bit beefier, I guess. The last few years, they're more like what's in a Scout. They have motor mounts on the side, kind of up towards the front, but on the side, and then one back at the tail shaft of the transmission. I'm working on splitting this. All this stuff is junk, but I should be able to save some items off of this. Like, I'd like to get these exhaust manifolds off, the intake, the valley pan. I don't know if the heads are going to be any good or not, but we can get the crank out. I don't know what kind of condition the cam and lifters will be in, but we'll just try and salvage everything that we can that might have some value and be able to reuse. I didn't think I was going to be able to get all those bolts out. Some of them wanted to strip, but I just kind of backed off, let them soak longer, put some heat to them a few times, and got them out. Now, you see I lifted this off using the engine hoist. This intake manifold probably weighs about 80 pounds. So, especially when it's in the vehicle, you want to be careful about just trying to heave these out. I've done it a few times when I didn't have the engine hoist. You basically just want to like stand over the top of the engine so you can set it down on there, because you can't, it's very difficult unless you're just really stout to hold these out in front of you and like stand over a fender and put these things on or off. They're just heavy. So don't be ashamed to use your tools that you have. If you got an engine hoist, use it. Same goes for these heads. These heads are even heavier. So use the engine hoist to do your heavy lifting. One thing I see all the time in the forums from people that have acquired these vehicles and not familiar with them is trying to determine what size engine it has. So one okay way to check is in the door. You can tell by the horsepower rating. Like in this case, it shows 196 horsepower. That indicates it's a 345. But engine can always have been changed. You never know. So the best place to look is where it's stamped on the engine block. And it's, I don't know about other brands, but with International, these are real common to find when you start looking behind body panels. These are basically the painter's sign off. Another place you'll find them commonly is like here. And a lot of times, like on Scouts, the painter put it in the door jamb. I've noticed on the D series, I kind of just find them all over the place. The Scout's a little bit different. Like there's one there. Makes you wonder how the thing even got any oil. It's probably starving a bit. In here, and the bottom end doesn't look as terrible. Not like the top end. I'd like to be able to save this crankshaft, but I don't know if I can, because I can't get all the rods disconnected without it spinning. To get it to spin is going to mean trying to free up stuck pistons. And let's see, this is to show that I have sold to Melvin Kelly one 1971 International half-ton truck, color tan, for trade in 1974 Vega wagon, and $3,500 to be paid in 2 payments, $2,000 and one $1,500. Jack. Just found the door cards behind the seat. I'm telling you, this truck was super nice. I also found this bag, extra fancy U.S. parboiled. I don't know what that means. Rice, 100 pounds. I'm guessing that's kind of an old bag. Okay. So we had a piece of the trim. We had that wasn't in there. That wasn't in there. That was mine. So we had a bottle of STP oil treatment. pH 43 Fram filter, which I'm just throwing in the trash. Belt. I'm guessing, I don't know. This kind of made me nervous when I found that, but then I got to thinking about it. It's like, oh, that's like for only a 1-barrel carburetor. Turns out it didn't really matter, because the carburetor on this one was full of stuff and engine seized up. So it was worse than I could have imagined anyway. So interesting shirt. I don't know. Dig Them Dogs, 1707 North Farwell. I have to see if I can, apparently some kind of hot dog place or something. I have to see if I can find where that's from. International hubcap. This is probably what was on the truck originally. Three trim rings, 2 different sizes. The bigger one, 2 a little bit smaller. So I don't know what those are in there for. This is probably the original fan. I don't know why that was removed. The fan shroud's gone. Another oil filter. This is it's a RA18 single rear axle, 354 gears. Yeah. So we'll get in there and we have to get all that out. Don't want to keep any of that. And of course, somebody mentioned before, like, why are you cutting those wires when there's a plug right there? This will all get ripped out. The wiring in these is, if you ever get one of these, it's the first thing you should do. Pull the wiring. These things use an amp gauge, So you had a wire going through the dash to the amp gauge that was like full voltage. It was very dangerous. Typically what happens, and I don't know if it's as bad on these, but on the Scouts, the bulkhead connector, it goes through and it hits a bulkhead connector right here, and it gets corroded. The connection gets bad. It ends up overheating, shorting out, melting down, burning up. And a lot of people lost their trucks to those bulkhead connectors. So I think originally, let's see the fuse. It's the old style fuses. Let's check out this one. New style fuses, same location. So you can redo these, make them modern, but still kind of do it the way International did it back originally. But you know, like I said, just with newer, updated technology and such. So.